I think the question I'm going to end up asking Christopher, our Public Works Director, Christopher Bold, is are we committed to spending the 89 million of capital projects this year? And, I think we're making a contract with the public to deliver that many projects and that meant dollar value of projects. And I think the question is, if we aren't committing to deliver that, should we revise? But I want to set some context for that before I actually ask that question. I need a little time to think here. But there's some big number that remains in the bank, and we want to draw it down. We don't want it to go up. So of the 89 million, what's really going to happen this year?
Mayor, I'd just like to clarify that 89 million is over 5 years. It's a 5-year CIP.
I think the 5-year CIP is, let's just flip to that page, because I would love to be, using the same numbers, all of us. The 5-year CIP, I think, is 400 million.
But the 89 is over, I don't believe it's over just this fiscal, or over this next fiscal year. But we don't.
That's the fiscal 23-24 CIP budget.
But a lot of it is undetermined.
It's,
That's what I'm saying. It's not.
Yep.
It's not money in the bank that we currently have. A lot of that is unfunded.
Yeah.
Right, and that
Right.
goes to the question of what is a budget? The second question I have. So I guess the answer to the first one is we're not really intending to do the capital budget for this year, or we just don't know where the money for this year comes from yet.
Well, I think that, we're really clear in the budget what we have funding for and what we don't have funding for. So it's not money just sitting in the bank. We're trying to leverage that money for grants, for other opportunities.
I think I can get corroboration. The money in the bank currently is the fund balance that I stated. So the 89 might not all be transferred in and dedicated yet, but the 89 is what's in the budget for this year's capital plan.
Corey, do you want to walk through the capital?
The distinction between
Funding
funded
sources.
and unfunded?
Yeah.
Because my question is, if it's unfunded and we don't really have an identifier for it, it's not really what we intend to do this year. Unless, in most years, we don't go back and correct for all of the undetermined. There's a source called undetermined in the budget, and it's substantial, and it's a real concern on a whole bunch of levels. But we showing, what is the term? It's not encumbrance, it's expenditure, the other word for expenditure, appropriations. The appropriations column is a commitment for 89 million. The source is unidentified. Some might come through. But, for instance, on the trestle project, the public is very concerned that we said we'd spend $1 million in this past year, but the undetermined shows we don't have it to spend. And so so which one are we committing? Are we committing to do the project as the appropriation we say, or only to the level where we have determined funds? And going further, I would love us to remove the determined category and say, if it's undetermined, it's unfunded, it ain't in the budget.
If I may, there is value in showing a project such as the trestle as being unfunded, undetermined. When we're writing grant applications, that's a powerful motivator, brownie point scoring criteria, because it's adopted, it's endorsed by the community and the council as a need, as a high priority. And so when we show that shortfall, and maybe there's other matching dollars there, that's the justification / documentation that we need to really enhance our ability to get grants. So there is value with many projects in showing the need and listing it as
I think for public transparency and communication, there's also value in not showing an expenditure, an appropriation that we can't make or aren't really committed to spending then. We have many of these. And do you want to weigh in?
I just wanted to say the undetermined category is really representative of not only what Chris just mentioned, but it could be grants that we've already applied for, but we have not received a commitment from whatever grant agency that we applied from. And it could also be perhaps there's known donations that are coming in, but we have not received confirmation yet. So it's really projects that we feel are important to include in the CIP for a variety of reasons, and that the funding is in a pending status. So that's full disclosure of where we are by project, and it means sometimes that the funding shows as undetermined.
No budget would be complete without extensive footnotes. Yeah, there's a lot of moving parts but again, it comes back to, is it our intention to spend 89 million? In looking at past years, we haven't made our goal, and it's been through some of the toughest times that we've seen as a city, and in a super growth period where our ambition is really strong. And we're doing great stuff as a city. We're really hitting it on all channels, and we have money in the bank to not only do all the great social programs we're pushing forward, but for capital. And in the one area that is, shall we say, not meeting its budget level is capital. All of our operating staff, and we'll come into this later, programs are doing great on every front, but we need to set expectations to the public of whether we do intend to hit the 89 million, or can we push it off? I mean, and I'm the guy who says, let's fund it and let's build it, not do less, have less ambition. I think more ambition is where we're headed. I mean, certainly I hear this all the time with roads, that people are saying, the potholes in this town are the same as always, and you're thinking, but we're pushing money in this. We have the ability to push more, achieve more, and so are we going to commit to the 89 million? Or are there hurdles that you need council support to clear? Why do we have an 89 million if we're without a plan to achieve it, basically? What's the plan to achieve 89 million?
Plan to achieve.
I'll just add a couple of things, if I may. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the plan to achieve is sitting in front of you. This is our capital improvement program that we are committed to doing. And again, it's a myriad of revenue sources that we're trying to, we are also anticipating impact fees to come in, but if certain developments don't happen, we won't get those impact fees. So it's all reliant on those revenue sources. So is our intention to do it? Absolutely. Will it turn out that way? It remains to be seen.
Right.
I would say our enterprise, our water utility, and our recycled water is pretty set, but some of the other projects, Trestle isn't ours, so we're going to have our own challenges with that one. Sure. But there are other projects that I would just say that we're working really hard to get appropriations for and grants. So our intention, this is our program.
And we've had this conversation for a couple of years because it's so hard to ramp up capital projects year over year.
And that's the other thing, is that staffing. We've spent the last year, as you well know, we were 16% 2008 staffing levels in 2019. And so we've hired we've doubled our staff in Public Works. So to get everybody ramped up, and we had one project manager when you got here. So
I think we're making all the right moves and committing to the right dollar value.
Yep.
But what we have here, this document, is the 30,000-foot elevation as noted. And I'm asking Christopher if he can show me the milestone when the projects will bid, will deliver to people. And most of what we see seems like multi-year, not delivered in this year. Not many. There are projects in here that have future year costs looking like they're in this year's budget. And that would be bad budgeting. We're portending one thing, and our end of year books will look different on a thing we know about, that we won't get the construction funding this year. And encumbrances aside, I don't want to go all wonky as the project manager here, but encumbrances aside, if we let a contract put all the money in this year, that's great, that's a win. But or don't, either way. But it would be great to show the milestones of each of these things.